I always wanted to be a business owner. So being a mother and a business owner was very important to me. Both of those things were very important to me. So what I decided to do is take my lived experience and create businesses and create a nonprofit. So one of my businesses is Mom Biz Boss, and Miss Tina Greer is our governmental contract specialist, honey, because I'm all about the business. And Mom Biz Boss is all about moms in business that also are trying to make sure they're integrating parenting and also social awareness. So I took my experience from business and parenting my own children, as well as being a professional parent educator, and created that business. And the other thing really is I just enjoy like taking my lived experience. Not all of it is going to be good things. Some things are going to be very hard things. They're going to be
Mm-hmm.
struggles that you triumph. So for me, I am a woman that when I say mom, I've been a married mom, been a single mom, been a divorced mom, and a remarried mom. So as a mother, you have to figure out how to prioritize things and balance your time and integrate your time. So that's what Mom Biz Boss is all about. We network together, we grow our businesses together, but we also vent, talk, and encourage each other as mothers, business owners. And then let's talk about those hats you're wearing. If you're a
Oh
mom,
yes, there's a lot of hats, right? We wear a lot of hats, and we're multidimensional on top of that.
right. And so, you sometimes it feels like you're wearing so many hats. This one neck you have is about to break, but we talk about how do you,
That is true.
or that hair is about to sweat out or whatever. But what we do is we really talk about how do you, take off one hat and then put that other hat on and manage it. And if you're a mom, whether you're in business or not, and not taking the nurturing part away, but you're running a household, you're running a family, that instance is a business because you're doing the same thing. You're delegating. You're doing inventory when you go to the grocery store. You're budgeting when you're paying the bills. You're organizing. You're doing all the same things you would do at work or in a business, just in motherhood. So that's why we feel that moms are multiple operational managers and bosses.
I mean, that's amazing. That's amazing. I tell you, because yes, we do wear many hats, and sometimes as women, we take that for granted. All that expertise to juggle and make sure still that everybody is well taken care of and supported. So that mental aspect of nurturing others, our children, our spouse, our significant other, as well as juggling the operations of being a biz boss. So that is very very important. And I want for also, we have people coming in, we have some listeners that are commenting, and I want to make sure that we acknowledge Mom Biz Boss supports each other in all aspects of our business. And this is from Lisa. So, hey, Lisa, thanks for coming on in. We got likes, we got hearts, but also I want to, before I go any further, I want to make sure that everybody had an opportunity in regards to, I just want to highlight some of what, your credentials in regards to balancing business and family. I know you have several affiliations, on behalf of the Georgia Consumer Network, the National Federation of Families for Children's Mental Health First Aid, and NAMI. How do you juggle all of that? Because I see that you're also a certified instructor, mental health first aid trauma. Oh my gosh, informed care, parenting, educational specialist needs, rights, domestic violence. How do you juggle all of that and still at the end of the day have money coming in, revenues to support your family? How do you juggle that, the mental, just keeping kind of everything on an even keel? What are some tips or strategies you can let our listeners know, especially as business owners, and we're trying to cope with this virtual space, we're trying to cope with the kids being home, we're trying to cope with our bosses if we in corporate America, or even our clients as entrepreneurs, still be able to provide excellent service to them? Give us some tips or strategies to help you.
First, this is so funny. First, you have to be patient with yourself and kind to yourself. It just reminds me of earlier today. I was on a podcast with another mom biz boss, and my daughter walks in the room in my area, my office, and the dog is barking because somebody's at the door. Where we're at right now, realistically, a lot of us have never done this before. So if you are a mom and you're working at home, you're doing the homes, the virtual school, you're running your business, your spouse may be at home. And like me today, the dog was running around. Guess what, ladies? We are great improvisers. So you have to improvise and you have to take off that one hat. You might have had that hat of perfection on, and you have
Mhm.
to take off that hat of perfection and remember how to improvise and use your creativity. So when this happened, I'm in the middle of a podcast. I just stepped into another room. She didn't know I was going into a room, quieted down and kept on with what I was doing. But be patient with yourself because you're no longer in that cubicle or in that office that you have more control over sometimes. That's one. And
Mhm.
even if we were still in that office Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, but what if you're at home in the evening? Afternoon, you got to make dinner. Last night, I had a situation like that. I was training, doing a NAMI training. I do a NAMI training on Monday nights for families. And I literally walked in the kitchen. I plan. So that's one thing. I plan.
Plan. Okay.
One thing that I
Mhm.
plan in my household is who's cooking on what night. Monday night, unfortunately, this week was my night, but I already have written down what I'm cooking. I had that ready. I walked into the kitchen at 5:20. I threw that. I did a skillet meal. I think it was shrimp and chicken and pasta. I was walking to log in on time to my 6 o'clock training. It's about planning, right? And
Mm.
again, improvising and being creative because that's not a meal I generally cook, but hey, they loved it. Chopped up a salad instead of cooking something else. So planning, that's one thing. And then also being realistic. That's real hard because sometimes that's real hard for me. People say, well, you must have more time in a day. No, I don't. Some days, some of those things that you put on your to-do list, they probably don't get done because you're
Right.
not being realistic. So
Mhm.
writing down or creating how much you can actually do in a day, maybe writing 3 things a day. Or some of the clients that I work with, I am also a certified life coach for parents, of course.
Mhm.
Um, being really strategic and what are you working on for today? When I was more at home and had smaller children, Mondays were my calls and cleaning days. Calls and cleaning on Mondays, Fridays were my follow up days.
Mm.
Wednesdays are always my work at home days. That means I'm going to work at home. I'm going to do things that I need to get done for my home and my business and my work. So maybe creating themes for your life. Many of us are business owners. You guys got themes for your social media, but your social media, your business, your children, your family can't run without you. What is your theme for you every day? I can tell you also on Fridays, Fridays are my for me Fridays as well. So carving out some time for yourself, right? And
Right.
then not forgetting too, you have to carve out some time for the kids. So Friday evenings, I don't take any calls. Friday evenings, I'm not going to any events. Friday evenings, I'm not doing any of that because it's family night. So we might be playing Monopoly on the PS3 or 4 or 5 or whatever it is. I don't know because I don't manage that here. But I know that
Right.
we're playing games or eating or doing something on Fridays. So again, my tips are like being kind and patient to yourself, planning, and then create some things for your life. Remember earlier when I said that same way you run a business, your life, your family, motherhood is the same thing. It's a
Yes.
business. It requires
It is a
systems.
business. Right. You're absolutely right. It does require systems because you have demands. And then also in regards to that balancing act, if you have systems and processes in place for your business or even for family, it keeps the stress level down because you know of the expectations you already have. And then you also have wiggle room to where if something is not met, you can just pivot. I think we know how to pivot and we'll go right, left, whatever we need to do as long as we meet that ultimate goal. Do you agree with that? The pivoting?
Oh, the pivoting is needed because right now, for real, but every day just being a mom. But the
Yeah.
pivot is really needed now because guess what? Your child may come into your office space like mine did earlier and say, hey, mommy, I need to use one of your computers for this assignment because this isn't working. So, you know what? I might have to pause for a minute and do something else. The pivot is also real because now maybe even in business as well as in your household, you can't go out the same way, or you might not go out the same way safety wise and the things that are going on. So how do you interact and let your children engage and you and your family enjoy these, the things you usually enjoy? One of my children told me the other day, listen, we need to go on a picnic. We need to go to a picnic. I said, okay, well, we can go early in the morning one day into a park. She said we could have a picnic out on the screened in patio. Even the children are watching. And that's the other thing. Remember, as moms, your children are watching you, right? They're watching you. She's
Mhm.
like, oh, we could do that because she learned how to improvise, right?
Right,
So the pivot is
right.
real.
It really is. And we've been pivoting for, I would say, it probably has been a year now since this whole pandemic really was started to go into lockdown and so forth. It has definitely been a pivot, and some have been very successful within this time of our life, and some have really struggled in regards to that, both mentally and financially. So, in regards to, could you share maybe any tips in regards to mental health for a business owner is trying to juggle so much with their family life, their pressures of their job or their business? Anything that you can give to maybe some mini exercise of a way to help those?
Right. So mental health for real for uh, all of us is this is at a all-time high of people dealing with anxiety and grief and loss
Yes.
and all these things, right? So it's
Mhm.
like check in with yourself. Number one, check in with yourself. Be real with yourself. Do you need more rest? Maybe more rest will help you. Do you need someone to talk to? So, and I'm saying whether it's a friend event, a support group, do you need a mental health expert, a therapist, someone to talk to get all of those things out of your mind so that you
Mhm.
can focus on being the best you, parent, worker, whatever. So
Mhm.
mentally, the rates, the statistics are very high in regards to anxiety, suicide, and depression, all these things. So what I suggest for families, for parents, for business owners, especially moms, and remember, moms, your children are watching you, right? So you also need to worry or concern yourself about how you're presenting, taking care of your well being, your mental health for yourself, because our children are also experiencing an all time high of anxiety and depression. Okay.
Mm.
So, mentally, checking in with yourself, checking in with your children, creating that self care time and that space for yourself as well as your children, being patient and kind to yourself, doing the same to the children because none of us have experienced anything like this before. And
Right. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
and then if you're needing help, go find that help, go seek that help. And there's some wonderful organizations, some of them, Tina described in my bio that I'm affiliated with, such as the Federation of Families for Children's Mental Health. That is an organization that is nationwide. And also, I believe we have, yeah, nationwide, as far as Guam, chapters in Guam. I have my own chapter of the Federation of Families through our family organization, a nonprofit that we also have called Zaria Song. But anywhere, you can be listening to this anywhere in the United States. You can get on the Federation of Families website and get some great resources, some great tips. Maybe you just want to read some articles or learn more or connect with organizations. And then you have other organizations like NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illness, which I am also instructor and trainer for. That's a great organization. It is the largest organization in North America for individuals or peers that experience mental health in their families, advocacy wise. And they have great resources on their website, great articles, great supports. And then
Mm-hmm.
also, maybe you need that help and you're at whatever state you're in. Finding a therapist or a coach or someone to speak to, but get whatever help you need. And one last thing, your tribe is important. Where's your family?
Yes.
Where's your
Right.
friends? We're connecting. I found it so rewarding right now, and many people are saying this, to be able to sit down and have telephone conversations again because I got some time,
Right.
right?
That's true. A lot of time. A lot of time. An example of that, my family, we've reconnected via group text. and Zoom calls, just to have that reconnection since we can't physically be there. So that helps the psyche as well, that connection that we so long, yearn to have, but it replaces it for now because we know eventually we will be able to come together. So let me ask you a question in regards to mental health, especially in the African American community. The stereotype of sometimes I don't, we were taught or it was frowned upon to see, a psychiatrist or a counselor to seek help. What strategies can someone overcome that? I know you gave us a lot of resources, and I know that maybe like I see a lot of advertisements for telehealth, or they can call different numbers. So not physically, pre-COVID going to the office, but what can you, what kind of, I guess, comfort or information you can provide for those who are hesitant because of the stereotype of seeking help? And there's a lot of business owners out there that need help and they're struggling.
So the stigma on mental health, right? Yeah, we just have it, and it's within the African American community, but many communities of people of color, there is a stigma when it comes to mental health. But the way that I would say, and that I explain, getting over that stigma is we take care of our heart. We hear about heart disease, and we're like, oh, we need to go. We want to have a heart attack. Oh, I don't want to, necessarily have diabetes. And there's not a stigma for that because it's physical. You can see it, you can feel it. But with mental health, the issue is, you know what? We all have a brain. We all have emotions, right? That's part of our body. So our mental health is connected to our physical health. It's called whole health. So just like I have an arm, I have a brain, I have emotions. I might get frustrated, things may happen. Look at it, or try to look at it like that. It's another part of your health. It's about your health. Your health, as they say, is your wealth, whether it's physical or mental. And sometimes when it comes to mental, just because we say mental health, there's a difference between mental health and mental illness. A illness is when
Mm.
you have a mental illness, maybe you have a diagnosis, right? And it's okay too if you have a diagnosis, because guess what? Nobody don't look at you a certain way, or anybody doesn't look at you a certain way if you say, you know what, I have arthritis in my knee. But someone that may experience or have bipolar disorder, that's looked at a different way. It's not a difference. It's just the way another part of your brain is affected. That brain is a part of your body. So looking at it as whole health, that mental wellness is what's important. So if I care about my heart, why don't I care about my mind? Because guess what? My mind, my mental health, it controls all that. It helps control my body. It helps me and controls how I can go and get that money to feed my family. It helps me control how I interact with my spouse and interact with my children. It helps me understand me and feel from myself. So mental health, the stigma we have is, it was once thought of, if you got mental health, you crazy. No, no, you're not crazy. Nobody's crazy. Nobody's using any of these derogatory words. What it is taking care of your health. It's not
Mhm.
anything different from if you had a cut on your leg. If I'm not feeling well in my psyche, in my mind, and my mental well being, let me go and seek some help.
That is amazing. I have never heard it explained so practical, and it just makes sense, and it's okay. And it's okay because that doesn't, no one should look down on you because you're raising your hand and say, hey, I know something is not right and I need some assistance. I need to get it checked. Because I know with this, in this pandemic, it's hard, especially if you're a social butterfly. You're used to being around people. People give you life, they give you energy. And when you have to still show up and perform, and but still be in an isolated state, it can be very difficult for many. So I am so glad that you clarified that, and you were very direct in letting us know it's okay to sometimes be not okay and get help, seek resources, and so forth. Because again, we have to balance. This is a balancing act. That is our topic of discussion today. balancing our family and our business, because at the end of the day, the bill collector is still going to show up in the mailbox. They gonna call you on the phone. No matter if you're a business owner or a W-2 employee, you have to juggle in order to thrive. And again, many people are thriving in this environment, in this pandemic. And some, I would say for me, I have to just keep my head down and focus and not get so carried away with the media and what's going on. Just stay focused, being aware of what's going on, but just really kind of hone in on what I need to do in order to get through it. So everybody has their own way of coping, the coping skills. Can you add anything on coping skills, especially being a mom biz boss, and for in that, doesn't matter if it's a male perspective as well. What's some
So coping skills. So let's start with the mom biz boss part, the mom part. So with coping skills, some things, and this is hard, especially depending on your upbringing or your background. Sometimes you're going to have to ignore sometimes certain behaviors with your children right now, or redirect them. So for instance, remember I said our children are experiencing a high rate of anxiety as well. So they might be a little bit more snip at the mouth or whatever. You're going to correct them, but it's about redirecting them and having a little bit more patience. Because for instance, I have two teenagers in my house, and one of them is very social, and she's not able to get out as much. She's not always very happy about, no, mommy over here, Miss Teresa Wright-Johnson, we're not doing a bunch of socialization. So she's not always happy about that because she's a teenager. Remember, developmentally, your children are at a different space and place than you are. Children require more interaction generally, and they want to be with their peers, especially at certain years, such as the teenage years. So
right?
some of the things I have to, redirect, and I have to have a little bit more patience with. It doesn't mean that you're ignoring it. It means that, you know what, this might not be the right time right now to deal with it. So it might be, that child might be, derogatory towards what you're thinking, derogatory about maybe talking back to you or something, but you don't want to overfeed into it. Sometimes you need to
Right.
wait, have some patience, come back to it, especially where we are now. And then coping skills for ourselves as a business owner. You know what? You might be someone, some ways in this time, people are, some people are really doing well. They're doing really well because maybe technology is their thing. So now they're able to do things with their business and they're doing great. And maybe you are not technologically based or inclined, right? Like me, I'm great at certain things on technology, other things I'm not. So for me, one of the coping skills for me would be, know what your role, your lane is. Be okay. Be patient with yourself. And I like what you said a minute ago, Tina. Keep your head down sometimes and focus. It's a coping skill to be able to focus. Sometimes we need to pull ourselves in. I can tell you, I always tell people I have many hats, but I have one neck. If I have one neck, and I wear lots of hats. Like my husband sometimes like,
Right.
okay, I don't know what you're doing today, but okay, baby, whatever.
Right.
You
Right.
know, I have many hats, but one neck. You have to focus and zoom in because you can overwhelm yourself. This is a time right now that I'm talking to a lot of people about virtual burnout. Virtual burnout.
Yes. Look. Yes. Burnout. Yes. I never heard it with that terminology. Virtual hashtag. Okay, here's another. It's a mom biz boss hashtag. Right. Secret show.
Great.
Hashtag virtual burnout. Just type that in the comments. Hashtag virtual burnout.
So yeah, so you can have virtual burnout right now too. So you can't. I've learned this early in all of this. I can't go to everything. So many people are like, "Hey, Teresa, I'm having this Zoom. Hey, Teresa, I'm having this meeting." Some lady told me something about something at 7 o'clock today, and I was like, "I'm doing something at 7 o'clock," and she was like, "Well, hopefully you could catch the replay." And I was thinking to myself, "How many replays? How many Zooms you think I've been on today?" I'm still going to
I
support the
know.
sister. I've already supported in a way, but you have to be very aware of your time, right? And your intentions and your focus, because you can overwhelm yourself. Just because there is a virtual event at 3 o'clock and you get off at 4 o'clock and another one doesn't start until 4:15 doesn't mean that it's going to be gravy, right? It's going to be easy for you to do it
Right.
because you know what you used to give yourself time, even if you went to another event and you were in the car, that car time gave you time to kind of woo-saw, even if it was
It
traffic.
did. It
You can
really
listen to a
did.
little music,
Yes,
you
you're
could
right.
make a phone call. Now you jumping on one Zoom to
To
the
the
next
next,
Zoom,
to the
to the
next, to the
next
next.
WebEx,
And you're
to the
sitting in
next
one
PDF
spot.
filer in
And
one
you're in
spot.
one spot. One
And I,
spot.
and another thing is a coping skill might be investing in something like a standing desk. I have a standing desk right next to me because I know that for me, sitting all day is not good for me physically, but also mentally. Like I need to be moving around. So know thyself. Just because you are
Oh,
at home
yes.
does
Yes.
not mean you cannot still do some things that will help you cope. So one thing may be, going out, getting some fresh air, whatever works for you. For me, I like to move around. So I'm going to need this standing desk right here. And I needed
That's
my, yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Look, Lisa says hashtag virtual burnout. Okay, we got a hashtag going on. Virtual burnout. Okay. It
Yeah,
is
you don't want
real.
that. You don't
It's
want that
real.
virtual burnout.
Yeah, so I mean, you have given us so many nuggets to cope, to organize, organize your life, organize your business. You gave us wellness skills of coping, being patient. Everything that you have said is so important to the well-being of us in order for us to really stay grounded in, and thrive, in our family lives and our businesses just by those fundamental things that we sometimes overlook because we're always chasing the bag. But then next thing you know, we're sick and we can't even move and we don't understand why. So I mean, it's already 7:30, Teresa.
Oh, great.
Flown by. It's already time. We're going to wrap this up. But you have provided so many nuggets for us. But one final question: how can someone reach out to you to inquire, about your services and how you help your other clients? How can they reach out to you?
I think the best way to reach out to me, especially with the topic that we're talking about today, being multiple operational managers, is reaching out to me through Mom Biz Boss, our organization that focuses on motherhood, of course, parenting, business, and social awareness. So you can find us on social media at Facebook or Instagram just by Mom Biz Boss. That's MOMBIZBOSS. Or you can go to our website at mombizboss.org and we'll meet you there. We're ready to greet you there and help you be that multiple operational manager.
Man, we can do it. We should all feel empowered. We, men and women alike, are all empowered just by the nuggets that you have shared with us today. So, out on behalf of the Tina Greer Show, Small Business Conversations, where we're talking about balancing act between business and family, I want to personally thank you for carving out a small part of your time to be with us today, to empower us, to educate us on how we can really show up great and really thrive in this environment. So again, thank you so much, Ms. Johnson, for coming on the show.
Thank you, Tina, for having me. It was been a great time. Thank you again.
Awesome, awesome. And guys, I want everyone to know if you'd like to reach out to me, Greer Business Solutions, learn more about government contracts and business operations, feel free to schedule a call with me at any time. I'm going to actually put the link down here below. You can actually reach out to me here, and I would love to see how I can assist you and help you in understanding government contracts and also enhancing your business operations. Again, thank you so much, everybody, the listeners, the replay viewers, the live audience, also the comments. Look, and here's a final comment. Good info, ladies. Thanks. So thank you so much, guys, for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.
Bye.